think we are live. I hope so. Let's see. Okay, we are officially live. Good morning. How are you? I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to come on and say hi. Oh my gosh, I have like crazy hair right now. Crazy hair. And if you're joining me live, come say hi in the comments. Let me know who's here. I'm so excited to do this. I was going to do this last night and things came up and I wasn't able to do it. And I am a huge proponent of following the flow of energy. And yesterday I wouldn't have been in the flow. So I saved this for this morning, even though today's the second. And you know, I went back, hey Abby, happy December. And hey Chris and Jody, hi hun. I look like I have angel wings. I know, it's my chair. It's my chair. I do have angel wings. I've been initiated into angelhood. So some quick updates. You can see I'm in a different background. I just moved. I moved all weekend, hence the fact that I wasn't in this group last week. God, I think it's been a couple weeks. And plus it was Thanksgiving. And so on that, I'm grateful for you guys. I'm so excited that I have this group and I get to hang out and do these kind of things. But I moved, I wound up, I went back, you guys, and I listened to, I think it was September's Soulcast and then obviously October's. And I was kind of floored because in September going into October, just listening to some of the things that I was channeling, it was wild because never in my wildest dreams did I know or think on any level that the stuff I was channeling for the collective, you know, it's a collective energy, was going to impact me in the ways that it did. And it was wild. It was like listening to myself talk and I'm like, that is so weird to hear myself say these things without even realizing that it was going to be happening to me. So it's just kind of crazy. Hey, Alexandra. Thank you. I'm going to doll this space up eventually. Right now, you can in the mirror, you can see I still have boxes and all sorts of stuff. But you know what? It's more important that I show up here and do this work because that's what this is all about, is just, you know. So anyways, a quick update just to, you know, I like to be transparent and open with you guys. So when I'm saying I listened to all the reports and all this stuff, I wound up getting separated from my husband, and it's a good thing, and it's all going to work itself out the way it's supposed to, but I got my own place, and I'm really excited. I get to like decorate it and do all the things and have this like zen, you know, I don't want house, condo, whatever you want to call it. So I'm a little giddy, I have to be honest. I wasn't expecting that because, of course, I'm mourning and grieving the loss of something, but I think I was actually grieving it and mourning it for quite some time. You know, it was just a matter of choosing when the right time was for all this to take place. And yeah, so anyways, so there's that. Okay, so I'm going to start. So just if you guys are, thank you, Cynthia. If you guys are joining me for the first time, a couple quick announcements. One, if you haven't seen, I have, and Cynthia, this is going to apply to you. I just left a message in the Soul Lab chat portal. I have a Frequency of the Future masterclass. It's 4 classes. I threw in a bonus class in there. So it was originally just going to be 3. And then I was feeling super generous. And I was like, you know what? I want them to like create their future maps in this class. This class is what has helped me have the deepest levels of clarity about what I'm creating in my life. It has like, honestly, it's so interesting because I can read the future just because I'm psychic and intuitive. But I got to read my future in a whole new way. And it was because I did the work in this class. And the reason it's important to be able to read the future is because you're literally creating it right now. So if you're not aware of what you're creating and what you're bringing from the past, then there's like such a huge chance that you're going to create the same thing over and over again. So if you want something different, which is kind of what I tuned into for me, like my highest self was like, hey girl, we got to make some changes. And so I listened to her. And so for some of you, it might just be very subtle changes that might take place in the class. But what this class is going to offer you is the opportunity to transform and up-level your life in a multitude of ways, okay? Because I'm going to teach you the tools and give you the resources to do this. Okay, originally I was going to start the class this Thursday. So Cynthia, this is where this applies to you. I have to push it a week because of my move. I did not have one hot minute email to promote this class. And in my heart, like as many people as I could think of, I need to promote it and I need to talk about it and get it out there. So I'm going to be doing that. Hey, Forrest, thank you. And so if you're interested in that, I will post the link in the comments. And we will start Thursday the 10th at 4 p.m. Pacific, and we will go for 2 Thursdays in December, taking Christmas week off, New Year's week off, and then we're going to have 2 Thursdays in January. So we'll start the new year in this like fresh energy. So think of the first 2 classes as releasing the past, getting really clear about what you're creating in the present moment, and then we're going to be creating the brilliant future in January. And who the hell doesn't need to create a brilliant future after this year? This has been the wildest year of my life. And I'm sure for a lot of you, it has been too. It's probably going to be one of the best years of my life too. But it's just like that change is sometimes. So anyways, thank you, Cynthia. Hey, Artemisa. Hey, Nikki. Glad you guys are here. Okay, so without further ado, that was my announcement. And then just, if you've never done this before with me, I basically go through, and that reminds me, I didn't do it yet. I have a calendar in front of me. I pick out all the weeks. So this first week, I already, in the last one, picked the temptation card, but I'm going to pick another card. So I'm going to do an all over card. But we're going to just say, for this week, the 1st, the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. So the energy will start to shift right around that Sunday, and then by Monday it's like boom, you know, the energy is like it's hot, it's right there, it's going. Okay, can you guys tell I'm in I'm in such a good mood? It's hilarious. Oh my god, I'm just cracking myself up. I worked out this morning too. I was on my trainer for the first time in a week, and I'm feeling healthy again, so that's part of it too. Okay, so let's go into the energy for December and see what is going to come through. Wow. Okay, so December, we got the heartache and loss card, okay? And that seems like, oh, so sad, right? So sad. But this is what's coming through. And I apologize if my eyes are closed, but this is what helps me focus and concentrate. You will be mourning the loss of an identity and a way of being. The collective is going through the hugest transformation it has ever gone through. And we are in the process of awakening, and we are going into higher levels of consciousness. That being said, you're going to kind of wrap up this year, and there might be a tinge of sadness because this year wasn't what anybody thought it was going to be. This year, we grew up. We woke up. We, started adulting, if you will. Sorry, let me turn. And that level of coming to terms with what we have lost as a society, what we have lost as, the ease of going to a concert or a movie or these things. It's not to say it's going to come back around, but we're finally realizing that it makes me want to cry, that what once was is not coming back. It's not coming back. but it'll be different and it's going to be better. But it's like, I can just feel it in my body when I tune into this energy, because it's very like, it's like, it's like when you grow up, you know. And I remember when I graduated from college, and I was so aware that I was in college for 5 years. I changed my major. And I remember I had to go talk to a therapist after college, because I was so incredibly sad that that incredible, amazing, fun life that I was living in college was over. And I literally had this like kind of moment where I was resistant to like moving forward and growing up. Like and I know that sounds kind of silly to say, but I enjoyed that time in my life so much, and I felt sadness, and I remember I had to grieve a little bit, like what was. So this, hey Christina, this doesn't mean that we're going to be, you know, in the dumps or all that kind of stuff. What this means is that collectively we're grieving. And grieving is something that is not looked very well upon. Like, it's one of those things where like nobody wants to be sad in a bad mood, or, you know, whatever. They're everybody wants to like just get to the next thing. So I want to share something really interesting with you. Like, you can be happy and still have, like, this doesn't mean you're going to be sad all month. You can still be really happy and have amazing things going on, but there's going to be a tone of releasing. So this is so much in alignment with like letting go of the past, having reverence for what was, and creating something sacred for the future. I mean, the thing that, you know, the beings that I'm channeling, and I'm channeling this like amazing group of light beings right now, and they're telling me, they're like, it's time that we start to see the sacredness of this life and how holy it can be, and that we create something from that. It's no longer time to like keep our eyes closed to what's happening, or to take things for granted, or instant gratification or distraction. It's like, really, this month is about honoring everything that you are feeling and being able to release the hold the past has on you, because we move into this new year, and they're showing me this bright light, and they're saying there's going to still be tumultuous energy. There's still going to be changes in the financial system. There's still going to be things happening. But because if we're willing to let go of the way that things have been, and it might, like, it could also be for you, you know, like a personal thing. Like, I can say for me, I'm in a grieving process, and I get it. I'm still, and you guys can see, but I am grieving something. And grief, oh God, I had this amazing experience when I was in my ceremony, and with my client Katie and I, and there was this moment where the shaman looked at us, and he said that one of the most underrated things in this society is grieving. And he said he spent an entire like week at this grieving like camp or something. I was like, what the hell? But anyways, his point was this, and he said this. He goes, if you cannot allow yourself to experience the grief, you cannot, everything frequency wise and feeling wise has a pendulum, right? So if you can't experience grief, then you aren't going to be able to experience the like joy of like bliss and ecstasy and all these things. Be willing to hold space for yourself and for other people, because this is a 3, for that process of just letting go. Okay, you got this. So there's that. And then the first week, I told you that we had, you know, this week we had the temptation card. You can go back and you can watch it. So that's going to be a theme. And I'm also going to like pick another card. We also are in an eclipse season. So eclipses also are going to probably help us release things, because it's it's an opportunity to awaken and further your evolution as a soul. You're going to have elevated intuition. So just know that we have an eclipse. We're in the eclipse all the way to the 14th, 15th. Okay. So there's lots of energy. So let's, And eclipses are about releasing all the old and embracing the new. So this is perfect, right? It's perfect. So this first week of December, which we're already playing in, let's just pull a quick card for that. Okay. Wow. They're giving us some doozies today. So the conflict and defeat card. And sometimes I wish I could, oh, let me just put this back in the deck and choose another one. I wish I could do that. That is all about the changes that are taking place, the changes that are happening. So you may have some changes in your life. This card, I like this card in a lot of ways because I remember the temptation card is don't go back to the way things were, even though things might be going through changes, or maybe you have some things happening around you where you want to go back to some old habits just because it's easy. The temptation card is like the devil on your shoulder that's like, yeah, just do that. That's easy. Like, don't worry about that. Okay, and then you add this card into the mix. That, it's easy sometimes when we feel conflicted about things, or when we're unsure about where we're going, or where there's a lot of uncertainty around us, to feel like this sense of like, oh gosh, like I don't know. And I had this amazing conversation yesterday with one of my clients, and we were talking about being, you guys hear me say this a lot, the womb of creation. And in the womb, when there's contractions, when you feel that kind of like conflicted feeling, and you feel down about it or scared because you don't know what's happening next. So think about the area of your life right now that you have where you're like, am I going to get that relationship? Is my job going to get better? Am I going to get the money I want? Whatever it may be. And if you're willing to release and let go of that which is not working, which is the overall theme, right? So you can step into the freshness and of what's coming. So the womb, you're in that darkness, and you don't know that you're going to be birthed out into the light. You don't know that it's going to be like the phoenix rising from the ashes. But if you're willing to flow with change, that's what's available to you. Okay, that's what they're telling me. They're saying this is about the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is about you being empowered in an area that once you felt defeated in. So instead of resisting what's not working, which is what we typically do, we go, oh, I don't want to deal with that, and that feels heavy, and be with it, sit with it, pause, and ask yourself, okay, if this is what is happening right now, how can I allow it, accept it, and embrace it so I can rise up to the higher frequencies? Okay, that's like if you think about the work with the gene keys and being in the shadow, that's always that. Whether it's happening outside of you or within you, the involution is that you have to accept what is first so that you can change it. Okay, so that's what's going on for our first week that we're already in. There's already like it feels like there's already a fire that's kind of like, and they showed me like almost like a cauldron where there's already like there's everything is already coming together so that we can start to change, so we can start. And they're showing me the word alchemize, and they're showing me this fire that's coming and burning through our energy fields, and not literally, but think of the elemental energies and the fire coming through. And if you allow it, it will burn away that which no longer resonates. Okay, believe in the power of really holding steady in this energy and allowing this to really up your ability to have, resiliency. Okay. So now let's see. Okay. So now we're going to look at the 6th going into the week of the 7th. And the 7th is right when we're going to be at a halfway point with the eclipses. So make sure you check in with yourself, keep releasing, embracing what's coming. That's your halfway point that week. Okay. So let's see. I feel like we get this card a lot. It's the crown chakra card. And one of the things that I was tuning to earlier is December is a 7 month, and this is a 7 card. So 7 is all about frequency. And when you think about the frequency that is going to be required to create the life that you desire, it's faith, right? You could easily go into fear or scarcity, because the planet is vibrating on that level. And this is a card that's saying, and this is so interesting because they're showing me a vertical pillar of light. So they're telling me, like, if you're willing to, oh my gosh, this is like kind of big. But if you're willing to surrender your life to the divine, you will be divinely held. Like, you will be taken care of. The things that feel really difficult, there's like literally they're showing me and I feel it in my body, like such a softening of your being, because it's the preparation for how you, if you are going to walk the path of like Christ consciousness. And it's not a religion. This is about being aligned with love and really accepting the divine on all levels. Then this is the week that you get to surrender a lot and step into the frequency of faith. And if you've worked with me, I've said it a million times, faith is not something you can fake. It's not something that you can, excuse me, eating breakfast. It's not something, drinking, I should say, my breakfast. It's not something that you can say, oh, I'm just gonna pretend and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make sure that God does the work first, and then I'm going to like believe. You can do that like one time, let's just say, and I've told you guys my story about doing that. And if I haven't, I'll tell you again sometime. But for the sake of staying on time, this is, oh my God, they're literally showing me, like, if you were gambling and you were like to like double down, like that's what they're showing me. You're double downing because you're creating a foundation of faith for next year. You're stepping into this way of being where you're gonna not be sure that it's gonna pay off. Like, it's just like gambling, right? Where you're gonna be like, am I gonna win this or am I gonna lose this? And you're going to win if you're able and willing to do this. And what does winning mean? That's my question to my guides that are channeling through me. What does that even mean? What do we win? Do we get a prize? Do I win the lottery? They're saying you'll see some movement. You'll see some movement this week. There's something that has maybe felt elusive to you, that has felt off in the distance, like, oh, that doesn't seem like something I can have or that I can do. And they're saying, if you journal that week, I want you to be very specific. Come that Sunday, I want you to write down everything that you're thinking that you want to bring in, to your life. And they're saying, surrender it to the divine and watch the magic and the miracles that unfold. Comes with it, I'm going to give you some instructions. If you, let's say this is your negotiation card that you're handing to the divine, and when you surrender, you're literally saying to the divine, here, this is yours, and you don't take, I am trusting that you are bringing this or being instrumental in my life to have this created or whatever, as long as it's for your highest good, right? Sometimes we want things that are not meant for us. But if it is, you will start to see movement. You'll start to see some light, that will come through to illuminate the darkness of what you thought wasn't able to happen or what wasn't there. So this week feels very blessed. And the specific instructions that they're saying is make sure that when you hand it over, for 7 days, from Sunday to Sunday, practice the art of surrender in your heart and feel the frequency and vibration of that thing already happening. They're saying that this is a week that is going to change you on a subtle level. They're talking about your cells and your DNA. They're talking about our light body. That's why they're showing me the vertical pillar of light. They're saying that we are going to start to change our light bodies, that we are going to start to rewire the way we react to life if you're willing to do the work. And this is your practice week, okay? And God will be holding you this week. God is always holding us, but you're going to notice it more because you're going to be in direct conversation, okay? So that's what's going on that week. And then we have the 13th. Do you guys have any questions so far? I know I'm just going. Okay, so the 13th. And let me see what's happening for that week too. Let me just make sure. Okay, so the 13th is an 11 master day. We also have the Geminids meteor peak. So possibly 120 meteors per hour. Isn't that wild? So that's going to help us lift up our consciousness on the 13th. And then that week is the eclipse doorway of opportunity. So we have a new moon that week in Sagittarius. So she's saying, one of the gals that I follow with astrology, review your plans. The 2 week post eclipse period begins. Yeah, so you'll have ended the eclipse period that 15th and 16th, and then Saturn moves into Aquarius on the 16th. So that's a big transition where we're going to be letting go of karmic patterns. No wonder there's so much letting go this month, especially when we move into Aquarius. Like, that's the whole preparation for what we're going to be doing for next year, right? Whew. Abby, love you, darling. Thank you. Okay, the 13th. I swear to God. Dude. Oh my Lord. I'm just writing this down. We got the obstacles and challenges. I mean, it is like boom, boom. This is a 5 card again. So when we get the fives, right, it's the shifts, it's the change. Oh my God, things are happening. Um, so you to the divine, and you're going to see some light. And then life is, you know, some obstacles may arise. You may be tested a little bit. You may be like, okay. And this is a spiritual test, by the way. Something in the external world may be happening, but this is definitely a spiritual energy where it's about holding the frequency that you created the week before. And they're just showing me that in the collective, there might be some chaos happening this week. This doesn't feel super personal. I mean, you might have, we all have our obstacles and challenges that happen. They're talking to me about like the world climate, and that things might, I hate even talking about like the virus and stuff, but that things may heighten a little bit with like lockdowns, and there might just be a little bit more of a feeling of like, because on one hand they're showing me like everybody wants to feel like Christmas spirit and be all excited and all this kind of stuff, but it's like, oh, but this isn't like the same type of Christmas energy. Like, this is not like everybody gets to, go see their families and do the things that, and within reason, right? Within reason. So this week, the things that are transpiring feel more in the collective, but it's how you allow the energy to affect you personally. And I don't want to suggest that you just ignore and be an ostrich and put your head in the sand, but there is something to be creating your own energy bubble and being willing to allow yourself to stay in your own high frequency. This is the week too that they're saying you don't want any outside noise. So like if you're somebody that like watches the news every day and is all tuned into all that kind of stuff, you may want to take a break from it. You may want to just be in your bubble. Be in your bubble, create the joy that you can create, feel the highs, like get excited about what's coming. And they're telling me, I don't know why, but they're showing me very much like a physical thing this week. Like your body, your nervous system. It really is important to ground. I don't know if it's just because it's the time of the year or what, but they're just showing me this is a week that you may feel a little bit of like it's so interesting because they're showing it to me like as a quiver through your body physically. And so you may feel a little shook, like a little bit like ungrounded is kind of the way they're showing it. Sure, that week that you are really staying in your ability to ground and have inner resiliency for what's happening. Um, I just want to see one other thing really quick that they're, oh, what a beautiful message. They're telling me that your third eye is going to be really activated that week. And so if you are doing the work, the cool thing about this is that you'll see the truth beyond what's happening. So you won't feel like a puppet, to like everything that's happening. You'll be like, this isn't really, isn't that the week of the big shift on the 21st? No, that's the next week. That's the next week, Jody, on the week of the 20th. So you'll see past the veil of what's happening and go, okay, I see all this, but I'm still good. I'm still good. Okay. So that's the week of the 13th. So now we're moving to the 20th, and then we just have the week of the 27th. I have to be honest. I mean, I've done it now, right? This month has a little bit more energy we're playing with here, in a different way. Then doesn't mean it's going to be it can't be a great month. It just means we're going to be moving through a lot of stuff. Okay. 20th, we got the spiritual strength card. 9, endings. No wonder, we have this like feeling of the month being release energy. This week is huge. If you haven't heard already, the 21st is the big conjunction of light with Aquarius right after the solstice. So it's a once in a 20 year happening. The Aquarian era begins. So that's pretty freaking amazing, right? And then, December 22nd is going to be an 11 master day. So celebrate your move into a new life. Watch for the signs. So the 21st and the 22nd, very big days energetically. I love this card because this is the card that's telling us like everything you've been working on spiritually, you might just feel like different. You might just go, oh my God, I just stepped into a new reality. Like everything just kind of like clicks together. So you think about, I want you to just like think about what have you been working, like what has this year taught you? And I think for a lot of people, it taught us how addicted we were to our external reality feeding us, like our happiness being determined by what is transpiring outside of us, which is not to say like you're not supposed to derive happiness from it. But if the final, way that you enjoy your life is based on, all the distractions of the external reality, and believe me, I miss getting to do certain things, right? But what I'm saying is this is the week, if you can be what this year has taught you. Like think of the soul lesson of 2020. Who have you become? Who are you becoming? This is the card. This is the week that everything integrates and locks in, and you start to feel like this sense of lightness. You are going to feel that cosmic shift that's happening outside of us is happening within us. This is a week of synchronicities. This is a week of blessings. This is a week that, you might have some final like touches on some of the soul lessons. You might feel like a door is closing and you won't be able to open it back up again because you're literally supposed to go through a new door. That's what they're showing me energetically is once that door shuts, that's the ending. That's the releasing. That might be the loss that you're feeling, but it's like this sense of like, well, God, I was never supposed to go back through that door ever again anyways. Like I'm supposed to start anew. So we're going to feel this in a multitude of different ways, but the synchronicities that are going to come through this week and the heightened level of like love that I'm feeling blasting through your heart. So this is really interesting. You know how I was saying the Christ consciousness energy, I'm literally seeing a blast of plasma light coming in from the high angelics. You can call it like, oh my God, I don't know, like starseed energy, like whatever. Like you can say it. There's so many different ways you can say it. But I'm literally seeing a blast of this gold plasma light coming into our hearts and opening something up for us. So that door that opens is literally a portal. It's a gateway. Wow. Wow. Into something completely new. And so I think that's part of this like awakening of consciousness. I think that it's definitely, and it's going to affect, I think that's why our physical body, and when I was saying in the week before, is going to be preparing, almost like purging. When I saw the quiver, it was kind of like the nervous system is releasing, because now they're showing me, it makes sense, that going into this week of the 20th, your light body is going to continue to be reinforced so that you can hold more light. What does that mean? That means that you're going to be more connected to your divinity. You're going to remember at a soul level your perfection. You're going to have more congruency in your life. Like you will be more embodied. And what I mean by that is your soul, like for some people, when I do readings, like their soul's like hovering, above them. And, your higher self is like the highest frequency you can hold. And your highest self doesn't necessarily mean it's your soul, right? Because sometimes we're working on that. This is like an energy of your soul sinking into your body. And that's the spiritual strength. Like once your soul sinks into your body and you have a higher level of consciousness and you accept that beautiful love that's going to blast through your heart from the divine, through the Christ consciousness energy. And it feels very like divine feminine, divine mother. That's what divine mother. We're going to be very like mothered, that, a mothering, loving energy coming through, a very nurturing, I should say. When that happens, you can hold more of your soul, so you are able to operate from a different level in your life. Whew, that one's a big week. I'm beginning to understand, and I'm sure you guys are too, and I'm so curious your thoughts, why we have the heartache and loss card for the month of December, because there's so much change, but it's like a lot of it internal. A lot of it's happening for us so that we can be the most activated, highest aspects of ourselves walking around, so that we can be the warriors of the light and help to change things on this planet so that we can have a voice. How freaking exciting is that? Okay, last week is the 27th. Let me just see. That week we have the final, so we have another full moon, which I'm not sure what it's going to be in yet. But it's supposed to be grounding energy. It must be, yeah, okay. And then the eclipse season will close December 30th. And then obviously we have New Year's Eve that week. So we get to get that party started for 2021. I've already started the party, ladies. I've already started it. Okay, what's this last one? The 27th. Oh my God, we got it again. I can't make this stuff up. Holy, shuffling the deck. I mean, how is it the same freaking card comes back around again? So let me ask, like, what, so we know the theme of this energy, but what does it mean from, oh my God, it's like the deepest completions. And so when I say a completion, I don't know why, like they're showing me, I saw a number 8, the infinity, but I also was seeing a circle too. They're showing me all these like different signs, and the circle being like the completion of something, so you may feel a completion of a cycle of energy, a completion, obviously with the year, a completion. So I would highly suggest for these weeks, the last 2 weeks of the year, that you practice so much gratitude. That's why I was asking you, like, what did you receive from this year? Like, who did you become? Hey, Rochelle. Yeah, closure of the year. What's no longer serving us? 100%. And so when you think of the completion and the fact that you're moving into something new, if you allow your light body to be activated, if you allow yourself to release and let go of the things, like I said in the beginning in this whole session, of what's no longer serving you, you feel like a light traveler. Okay. And what I mean by that, think of you, I'm thinking back to my days when I was backpacking around Europe for a couple months. And boy, oh boy, anytime you travel, right? And you have these, like, you're like, I need all my clothes and all my shoes and all the things. And if you're like traveling through Europe, like, no, it's a pain in the ass to like do all that, right? If you're moving from city to city. And I remember I had that huge backpack and I had a moment where I was like, this is too much for me. Like, I cannot be carrying all this. This is about moving forward in the lightest way possible. This is about, this month literally is the month that you can fortify your relationship with the divine and not just carry the faith frequency, but also move in such a way that you have learned the art of detachment. And this is a difficult, difficult thing to learn. I say that because I'm in it. I'm practicing it. And we have to choose what we're going to focus on. Like, it's so easy to get caught up in the dramas and traumas of life, right? And lose ourselves. And have you ever told a story to somebody and all of a sudden, like, you were in a good mood and you tell a story and then next thing you know, you're like all fired up and you're like, God, and this is not a time for, Nikki, it was the spiritual strength card, honey. This is not a time for us. Oh my God, they're being so clear about this. This is not a time to carry forward your victim consciousness in any way, shape, or form. Because the world needs us to be sovereign. That's what this is about. It's about sovereignty. And if you can be sovereign and see, and that, I'm just going to share with you this thing. It makes it's just wow. There's so many ways that that in our lives we feel like a victim. Nobody's immune from it. I don't care how spiritual you are. It's a bunch of bullshit if you think that, like, that nobody suffers from this, right? It's one of the 4 archetypal energies that is existing on this planet at all times, And the difference between somebody that is in victim consciousness and somebody that has moved out of victim consciousness is that when you are a co-creator of your reality and you catch yourself being a victim, you go, oh, I'm doing that thing again. I'm victimizing myself. I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm feeling like things are not, that this thing that's happening to me is here to destroy my life or mess with me or whatever it may be your story is. Because maybe you have a history of trauma. This is the time that you start to work on your trauma. Do not go into another year of your life not knowing how to be informed about how to work with your own internal trauma, the dialogues in your head, because the divine is saying we must travel lightly. We must learn how to detach. And the only way you can do that is if you feel like you are co-creating your reality. So this, spiritual strength card, the second half of it is about the co-creation process. It's about ascending to the higher levels of who you are because you've already worked on your light body the week before. It's about, when you catch yourself wanting to go in the dialogue, that narrative of your head of, I can't do, want this information from me, or I'm not good enough, or I'm too old, or whatever it may be. Stop doing that. How is that going to serve you? How do you get to help others and be the leader that you're meant to be in your life? Even if it's just for your family, your community. We have to learn how to be the best advocates and loving to our own selves. That's what the circle of completion is that they're showing me. How do you? That's what everything in the astrology, by the way, has been designed for, with these eclipses and with all this stuff that's happened over the last few months. Like, every intricately, like so divinized, so that we could literally let go and see how we are still playing the victim in our lives. And let me tell you, my friends, that when I had to face some of the ways that I was even playing the victim, still, it doesn't matter how much I journal, pray, practice, meditate, I still catch myself being a victim. And I have to say to myself, no, Dawn, that's not the frequency, that contraction in your being. That is not where you want to come from. So this last week is the week that you get a step truly into embodying, what I was saying the week before, your soul, but taking it to the next level and saying, I am a co-creator of my reality, and I am here as a soul in some way, shape, or form to serve. And nothing, I repeat, nothing is going to stop me from that. How fucking exciting is that? Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say bad words on Facebook, but but that's what's coming through for me. Like, I get all fired up, ladies. I start preaching. But it's because this energy is so potent and powerful for what's available to us this month. And if you step into the co-creation, right? And if you say, okay, it's what I was saying earlier about the shadow frequencies. You allow, accept, embrace. So it's not that you're not going to ever be a victim in your life. We all are. It's catching yourself and turning it around and realizing the lessons that you've learned in your life. This is an end of an era, my friends. It really is, because we're moving into the age of Aquarius and things are going to be different. Aquarius, Pisces is all about, and that's what we're ending. Pisces is the end of the astrology wheel. It is like the psychic, like intuitive, archetypal energy. It's the mystic. Can you embody the mystic? Have you gone through enough that you know without a doubt how intuitive you are, and that you can see beyond the veil, and that you are a soul having this human life? That is what this energy is about. It's coming full circle so that you can step into Aquarius, which is about the collective more. And it's about innovation and new ways of doing things. And we need embodied people that know how to work with their nervous systems and come from love to change this world, right? So December is cultivating this amazing experience for us to do that. Okay, I think I have shared. Let me see. Yeah, the forecast is intense. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Nikki, thank you, Dawn. I'll be listening to it again, but holy shit, this was powerful. Wishing you joy in your new space. Thanks, babe. And Rochelle, yes, I've been a lot more intentional all the time, which has changed a lot for me. It catches me being in that space. Yeah, Rochelle, you have transformed. I mean, as your friend witnessing you, you're freaking badass. Like, I just love you. You are, yeah, proud to call you friend, because just the way you go about your life is amazing. And I have no doubt, Rochelle, that you're going to have amazing stuff coming your way. So much love for you guys. I went full bore into this one, right? Because there's so much happening and I want you guys to be prepared. If I sat here and was like, oh, it's all love and unicorns and all of that, I wouldn't be preparing you for what's to come, and I wouldn't be preparing you for the work that's available to you to do so that you can be at your highest, right? And I kind of feel funny saying this, but like, if you've been on the fence and you're watching this video about taking my Frequency of the Future class, like, I can't think of a better time to take the class ever than right now. Seriously, like, this class is going to blow your mind. If you can't join it live, you can catch the replays, because I'm not going to be doing, like, it'll be live teaching, but it's going to be on a webinar style. So you'll have it all like in a library for like, if you want to go back to it and stuff. We will be creating our future maps, and your future map is not a vision board. It's like beyond a vision board, because a vision board is very like material. Like, I want this car. You might have a quote. That's all beautiful. But we're going to figure out what your soul essences are so that you can step into your purpose and you can create a map, a symbolic, beautiful map based on that. That's what we're going to be doing in January. If for some reason you are wanting to take this class and you're like, oh my gosh, I think it's $347. It's normally would be like $1,000 for me to teach this because it's going to be 90-minute classes every week. But if you are on the fence and you're like, I want to do this, but I don't know if I can afford it, just reach out to me and I'll do a payment plan for you. We can do like $100 or whatever it would, be a month. I'm not opposed to doing that at all. I want this work to get out to people. I'm very passionate, obviously, about this. So sending you guys a lot of love. Oh, Jody, thank you, honey. Grazie. Love you guys, and I'm just excited to be here in my new space and new energy. I'm going to be going through all of this with you guys too. Whoa. So lots of love. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.